Some reactions to trauma are repeated bouts of totally encompassing rage, where you're just engulfed by it. You might wake up to it. You might wake up in it, swirling in it, like in a tornado of torrent. And you might not be able to reconcile to the entity who cannot respond. You know what I'm saying? How we have to be like soldiers where we don't respond. We can't get broken up and cower down and cry when we're supposed to be up shooting. When we're supposed to be bombing the enemy. You see? I mean, I went into such a full-blown rage that at some point during it, I ended up with a mattress on my living room floor. For what reason, I don't even know. All I did was lay on it and play my guitar. A couple different times today, since it was there, right? Didn't feel like sitting up and playing my guitar. Didn't even feel like looking at it. So I just played whatever my fingers fell on. Took my blood pressure. It was 223 over 112. Heart rate of 95. Yeah, your ears didn't wobble and I did not stutter. I said 223 over 112. Heart rate of 95. Yeah, so you're like, okay, cartoon character, how come you're still here talking to us? Because nobody lives with that high blood pressure. Nobody. No, ask the doctors. People don't live with that high blood pressure. Not ongoing like you've had it. And I have had high blood pressure for like, 6.5 months now? Ever since Amber moved in. It's been spiking big time. Actually, since the 13th, that's when it really, 10/13, that's when it really just got out of hand. That's when I had my heart attack, because I didn't know that it was spiking. For those of you who don't know what spiking means, it means your blood pressure spiked. It went way the fuck up really fast, It went up so fast that before you could catch it, you might fucking die. Or wish you were dead after having a stroke. Because, you could have a stroke and it'll make you wish you were dead because you're debilitated. You're at other people's mercy. Suddenly, people got to take care of you. You see? Suddenly, you're not as mobile as you were. Well, I've lost so much already that I don't want to lose any mobility. You see? I don't want to lose my ability to do for myself, cook for myself, clean after myself, wipe my own ass, all that good shit. So, yeah. I need to take better care of myself, not because I might die, but because, I'm one of them entities that seems to keep stumbling into fates worse than death. Like, I get me a young woman to be my wife, and look what it turns into. I mean, it's just so sad and heartbreaking, right? Then when you tell people the story, it's like they get the willies, they get fucking goddamn goosebumps and shit. I'm like, yeah, that's what it does to me sometimes when I think about it. It's like, dude, and when you think about what led up to it and everything, right? When you think about it, how it could be ongoing because somebody would rather keep a secret about it than they just come to you with it, You see what I'm saying? It's like, it's traumatizing on so many levels. When, you're the spouse of somebody like my wife that something like this has happened to. Do you see? Because the dynamic is so much bigger than just, okay, it's just a normal bitch, mentally and psychologically and emotionally on your level, so, you know what I'm saying? Then there's, complicity, all right? If it happened, the way she says it happened, where she just got let off, a woman that's as smart as me would be fighting tooth and nail. You're not taking my ass. Fuck you. You're not telling me what to do. Who the fuck do you think you are? Let me just scratch your face, get your motherfucking goddamn DNA underneath my fucking fingernails to prove you were too close to me in the first place, and go call the police right the fuck now. You see? That's how my ex-wife would have handled that, but she would have left him laying on the floor fucking bleeding out, because that's how she is. She's a tough little bitch. And she knows how to hurt people. She's been taught. And she was taught self-defense by an aggressive person who actually taught her how to be physically offensive, where she could fuck you up. She can be the aggressor. It's not all self-defense. And I would recommend that all women learn this shit and know this shit in this world full of fucking rapists and child rapists and exploiters. You know, they just exploit anything that they can fucking goddamn exploit. Anyone. You see? So yeah, I'm like, I spent the day just trying to unwind this rage, man. Just trying to like fucking get rid of it. Make it disappear like I want to disappear. Because, well, I just want to fucking disappear, man. You know? This place that hired this dude to do this shit, you know? It's like, man, I so wish I could go back in time and none of this shit would have happened, because if I could know half of what I know now, I would have went to a different reefer store and I never would have met this person. I would see her walking by with her boyfriend. And just knowing what I know now, I'd be like, I dodged a bullet not meeting her. You see? Lots of bullets, actually, because, well, you know, it's like you're experiencing violence every time, you know, somebody even thinks about somebody else when they're supposed to be with you. And you know, the real love connotates it. You know, if you really love somebody, you won't do something to betray them or hurt them. When they're not around, that's when you're the most trustworthy. I mean, you might flirt with other people while you're around your significant other that you really love. You might actually do shit in front of them that makes it look like you would do shit behind their back because you seem flirtatious in front of them. But then when you're not around the person that you wouldn't fuck around on because, well, you love them, you know? When you're not around your spouse, suddenly you're not as flirtatious. You're not taking the same risks with the same people. I have lots of examples like that to refer to, you know, from the past. Women that were acquaintances to my ex-wife, who I would be flirtatious with in front of my wife, right? My ex-wife now. You see, I would be flirtatious with them in front of Lisa, but then the minute Lisa wasn't around, I was totally cordial, gentlemanly, and there was no lines being crossed. You know, there was not even the feel like it could happen. Suddenly the feeling was different because the flirtatiousness left when Lisa left the room to chaperone it, you see. She wasn't there to chaperone being flirtatious anymore, to be like the buffer, the cock block, the thing that would stop it from happening, you know? You see what I'm saying? So then you're afraid that somebody might cross a line while the person that you wouldn't fuck around on is out of the room. So you're not as flirtatious because you don't want that line to get crossed. You don't want them to give you a phone number or pass you a note. You see? They don't want you to give you the signal that, hey, no, we're just joking when she's in the room, but we could really do this. You see? You see what I'm saying? Then you could catch a vulnerable woman in a vulnerable position going through a vulnerable state. And she'll do something with you that later she'll regret. So then instead of this great sexual experience that she had, this passionate experience that she can log in her memory as a great time, suddenly you're just the regret. You see? Now, how many entities are existing in women's minds rent-free as something that they regret? Something they regret. They didn't just grab a dildo or their significant other and, you know, take advantage of that being there instead of, you know, the opportunity to do that dumb shit with that person, right? There's a lot of regret, and there's a lot of minds full of regret right now. Do you know that regret is like cancer and it eats away at productivity? It eats away at your ability to evolve and grow, become smarter and better, you know? While other people who aren't doing this dumb shit are getting smarter and better, and they're prospering, they're getting boats and jet skis and nice big houses and shit, doom buggies, while you're fucking scraping by, fucking on SSI or some other dumb shit, you know, just barely getting by, you see? Well, it's because of the difference in focus. What are you focused on, you know? Instant, immediate gratification? You know they sell dildos, right? For real. And for you dudes, too. It's like they sell dildos, man. You know? If you think your bitch is fucking She needs something? Buy her some dildos. Variety of realistic ones, the expensive ones. You see? And encourage the use of them to see if she can't adapt to that instead of sneaking off to use some other person as a living, breathing dildo. You see? You get a really intelligent bitch, she won't even want to put the mileage on her pussy. So she'll just masturbate with her fingers on her clit. And fucking she'll accustom herself to coming within a couple minutes just with fingers. She can just close her eyes and focus really hard on the sexual energy. And a couple minutes with her fingers on her clit and she's done. She's, blew it out of her system. She's ready to focus again on whatever it is that was being worked on before she suddenly got distracted with a sexual urge. You see? If only we had a world full of women like that, right? Imagine how many men would have to be in line and how much better the world will be. You see? I think that society's failure or success is based on the women of that society. And, whether or not it thrives or fails, whether or not it just disappears, it becomes something in a history book. Yeah, there used to be this nation or that nation, there used to be this civilization, right? And you're looking at it in history books and on the National Geographic channel, and you wonder what the fuck happened. Why did these guys start chopping each other's heads off and shit, What the fuck were the women doing, man? You see? Sodom and Gomorrah, what the fuck were the women doing that the men went that fucking nuts? It's like, I really believe that women could keep it in line if they wanted to, I don't know. There has to be a cleansing of races, right? You just got to find all the nasty, slutty people, both genders of all races, and just kill them off and start over with what's left, which will be very few if you think about it. Because everywhere you look, people are fucking each other who shouldn't be touching each other. You see? And people are being deprived due to that. People who shouldn't be deprived are being deprived in every way possible. So I had a nice little bout today with this engulfing rage that I'm going to have to get a better handle on if I want my life to go back to normal. Otherwise, I'm going to end up dead or in the hospital. Because the rage does push a high fucking blood pressure count, man. Every time I'm enraged like this, my blood pressure's crazy. And today I could feel it in my chest. I could just feel it. Okay, yeah, I feel like I'm about to die. My heart's just gonna burst out of my chest. And sure as shit, the numbers were so crazy high. It was like it just had there, and I sat there and just looked at the shit, man. I couldn't believe it. Because these are the numbers I had before I had the heart attack in August, where they had to put the stent in. Not the little defibrillatory event, quote unquote, that I had on 10/13, which was a defibrillatory event. Is that what you call it now? Felt the same way as the fucking heart attack. I just happened to fucking goddamn, I caught it right when it happened instead of walking around for 6 weeks holding my chest. You see? Because, my heart attack was one of them strange phenomenon heart attacks where I walked around for 6 weeks. I did everything with one hand. I was holding my chest with one hand because I was in such pain. And I didn't know it was a heart attack. And I finally ended up in the hospital in the emergency room at Grayling, and they had to send me down to Saginaw. And that was a nightmare trip that turned into a trip to heaven. Once they took me in the room where they put the stent in. Once they opened up that spot that was closed up, it was 90% closed. Once they opened that back up where my heart could beat again, I instantly felt better. I actually wanted to leave that same day. I didn't want to lay in bed another minute, And I forced them to let me go, AMA, against medical advice. I forced them to sign me out because I was just going to walk out anyway. I had a ride that day. The next day, I didn't have a ride all lined up for halfway across the state 2 days later, you see. So it's like, hey, what's more dangerous? Let me go home today with a ride, or make me wait 2 days so that you get to feel safe about letting me go. Then I got to hitchhike down the side of a fucking freeway. I might get hit. I might get ganked. I might get picked up. Bad stuff happens to people now. People do stuff for sport to people. They hurt each other. They'll take knives to each other and shit. Genital mutilation and knife rape. Who would have thought that, it's so common now that it could just happen to somebody, to a mentally handicapped person that, is close to you. That, wow, this shit is happening so much now that, it happened to her, you see. And these are things that they couldn't have did to somebody that's not of her mental capacity. They couldn't have took a knife and crawled between anybody. They would have never been able to pull that shit off with any bitch that I've ever been with before, except for maybe one person who I won't even mention. That person's dead now, so that gives you a clue. But how many women from my past are dead now, right? A whole lot of them, believe it or not. Just like all my friends are either dead or in prison, except for fucking like the next generation and the next generation down, kids and grandkids, who it's like, I don't know, it's a novelty to run with a legend that was a legend running with their legendary father or grandfather or uncle, You see what I'm saying? So it's like you're riding the coattails of their elders when you're hanging with them. You're not really riding on your own reputation. You're riding on myth, legend, fairy tales, ultimately. Things that aren't true. I mean, that's what it boils down to. Bullshit, sitting around a motherfucking barrel fire in the alley, fucking drinking beers and shit, right? And it turns into, you hear the story so much, you think this shit's real. So then you become a fucking cartoon character in the eyes of so many people. But you're actually living and you're animated. And that's why, the novelty there wears off after a while, and you start becoming conscious of it. And you don't want to be that cartoon character for people, so you'd rather not be around them, even though they probably really love you and really genuinely care about you. Alright, I guess that does it for me.
I'm never giving up, 'cause I'm a man in love. I'll be here to hold you. Anything you need, it's more than I told you. My feelings go that deep. Eyes are filled with rain and you're busted by the pain, I'll hold you through the storm till my shoulders are tear stained. You're gonna get my love and know my love is real. You'll know as I reciprocate the way you make me feel. Blinded by the light, lightly flitters through your hair. If it's empty by your side, I'm longing to be there. We belong together, 'cause you have my heart. We belong together, 'cause it hurts to be apart.
All right. I'm going to put a little ad on to the video y'all just watched. I forgot to talk about a couple things. It's 10:23 Eastern Standard Time by a clock to 7 minutes fast. Here in a super cool little minivan. It's March 15th, 2021. Earlier it was like the afternoon. I forgot what time it was, like 3 something or some shit. I don't know. 3 or 4, some shit. But today, while we were out at the store, the grocery store, this old hippie dude and a young dude with a tattoo on his neck, kind of a tall, big dude. Not big, but like, tall. A little bit tall. We were in the aisle, Amber and I, and we were coming towards the end of the aisle, towards the back of the store, down by the meat. Right as they came across to look up the aisle to see if they wanted to go up it. Now, when the kid saw me, he looked like he got a little bit, like, scared or something. And then when he saw Amber, I swear to God, his legs almost gave out. He literally looked like he was going to pass out. He was swooning, man. And that's when I thought to myself, Amber didn't, she walks around oblivious and shit, so she's not looking at people. If I was just gang raped and in the same town with the motherfuckers, I'd be looking at everybody I see, make sure that none of them's dumb. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, sneaking through the jungle and shit everywhere I go now. That's how I'd be, right? Because I'd be afraid of one of them fuckers approaching me acting like, oh, I didn't rape you. Hey, we just had consensual sex. Hey, you want to do it again? That mentality. How you doing? Approach you like you're friends and shit, you see. So yeah, she's oblivious to these motherfuckers, to this kid, this old dude. And the kid's about, I don't know, the knife rapist age, the manager kid that worked here at Riverview Senior Apartments in Grayling, hired by Stratford Group Ltd of fucking Alpena. Just negligent, man. They didn't even check to see if he was on probation. The motherfucker was on probation, man. So he hired a thug, so he'd have him and his thugs hanging out to rape all the feeble-minded women up in this shit, right? So, yeah, this motherfucker almost fell out and shit. And they didn't move. It was like he wanted to stand there and watch us to see if we noticed it was him or something. Now, I'm not saying it was him, but I'm just saying his reaction or how he acted at the end of the aisle seemed a little bit off, right? And I'm gonna have to talk about this subject because, well, it's gotta be hashtagged so many times, so many different ways because, well, this is a freak fucking generation where motherfuckers are knife raping bitches, man. So, raped by a knife, I didn't get that hashtag yet, shit like that. And eventually what's gonna happen is if they've created any fucking GIFs or little WebMs or whatever they're called, where they're showing them shoving a knife into my fucking mentally challenged wife, that they exploited sex from after gang raping her. You see, that's how mentally challenged she is. They could actually pull that off, okay? So, okay, to put it harshly, she's retarded. And I've been putting it harshly lately, and I want to kind of fizzle away from that, because I know to some people that's offensive. I don't see it as offensive. To me, it's a descriptive. It's like calling the sky blue, okay? It's like calling somebody who has cancerous, or, a cancer patient. If somebody's mentally challenged to the level that you could gang rape them and then you made them feel like the guilty party and they'll keep your secret and they'll actually come give you more sex to keep the secret. It's like, okay, you're dealing with somebody full-blown retarded with a child mind. You literally raped a baby. You see? And it's ironic that she wears fucking pads, depends. It's because, hey, wow, you did pull down a diaper to rape something with a child mind. It doesn't matter what her physical adult body looks like. Where's her mind at? Okay? You see? And it's like it took me a long time to get past her mind to approach her body as a woman. So that's, one thing that I just can't get past is how the fuck do you even walk up to somebody who's full-blown retarded like her and think you're going to just stick your dick in her? How are you even attracted to her like that? She has a child mind. Once you talk to her for 5 minutes, you know that. You're going to exploit that because you want to defile innocence. That's why you would do it, okay? And that's what these motherfuckers are about, defiling innocence. They're devils. They're devils disguised as fucking humans. They're soulless entities. Pardon me. So they're easy to control with external motivators. They can't cross paths with them in the hallway. They can't cross paths with a retarded woman without, doing some shit to her. It's like, okay, then you're going to top it off with knife rape. Well, the reason why this shit needs to be addressed, and it's like, hey, okay, these little web imps are going to pop up on the same hashtag page as the fucking goddamn, the web imps will pop up on the same page as these videos is what I was trying to get across. Is, I have to keep doing this shit until, well, hey, the consequences for that shit needs to go out there so motherfuckers understand what they're doing, that they're knife raping themselves. Because it's a very short time left before we're going to be in the time loops. And your spirit memory, your non-tamperable, non-deletable spirit memory that even records your thoughts and omissions, that's going to connect up with your victims. Yeah. Then you retarded woman, you ran a knife in her vagina and shit. Somebody was already married and you shouldn't have been touching anyway. But you shouldn't have been touching her because she's mentally challenged, okay? I mean, you actually should be properly vetted to see if you could even be safe to be around the woman, be around her sexually. I mean, especially after this shit, it's like, wow, wow, really? You get along with her and you start running knives up in the bitch? What the fuck's wrong with you, man? What the fuck if you had killed the bitch right there, Maybe that's what he was trying to do, make her bleed out, right? And then fucking, nobody finds out what he did. She bled out from her vagina. You see? Like nobody heard her down there moaning and screaming. The walls are thin. And that's part of why I can't touch her now is because, well, all the neighbors heard her fucking down there with him. They ain't heard her at that level of exuberance since then in my apartment. So it's like, to them, she's just this little slut who can't be satisfied by her husband. So she's got to run down here and moan louder on some bigger, younger dick or whatever. You see, they got their minds made up. So that's what I'm dealing with here, in the 3D, which don't matter because, well, these entities are making fun of me, probably going to get time looped and spiritually executed. If Amber knows straight up, she's definitely getting time looped and spiritually executed right along with the motherfuckers who raped her, you see? And everybody she committed adultery with. It's like, okay, there you go. Get a whole bunch of motherfuckers undone up in this shit. I don't care. They failed their pre-existence. They're valueless. We can't have them in the real world. You failed the test. How many tests did some of you get? Lots of them. Because you had a forgiving motherfucker like me who kept letting you fail more and more tests till you just proved, okay, totally valueless. Cha-ching, put the red mark on that bitch's forehead. So these motherfuckers are headed for the time loops, where they're going to be time looped as all their victims, all the little animals they hurt, all the little retards they hurt, all the women they raped. It's like, yeah, they get to get put in these victims now, right? In the time loops. That's what the Bible's all about. Anybody who knows the Bible will tell you this shit, but there ain't very many motherfuckers here that know what the motherfucking Bible says. They don't care about it. They don't teach you to care what the Bible says. When you try to be a minister, they teach you how to manipulate people's minds and get them to do what you want. And the main thing you want them to do is spread the word about your church, build your church, and bring you motherfucking money. For real, I'm totally certifiable to be an ordained minister. I took all the classes. I know everything they know. I know everything your preacher standing behind his pulpit knows. I know just what they taught him. He's teaching underneath the scribes. The scribes and the Pharisees who wanted Christ fucking crucified. Yeah, the same scribes and Pharisees. Same motherfuckers that wanted him dead because he was telling the truth and warning people, hey, they fucking with the Bible. By the time the end times come, there ain't going to be no real Bible. You see, it's going to be a fairy tale book. Peter Pan's going to have more truth to it than that shit. You see? And it do, too, man. Look at the King James Version Bible. It's like, God's miraculously got King James fucking mentality. He's a closeted, self-loathing fucking woman-hating homosexual. Wow, I didn't know God was a fag. Because, well, God sure seems like he shares King James mentality an awful lot. Oh, and if you look at a 1611, you'll see right there, the translators warned you, fairy tale book. But the king might take our head off, so we better write it the way he wants it. So you got these religions, Mormonism and all this other shit based loosely on fairy tales. from King James, the official government version of the Bible, to disqualify the Geneva version that came out before that. I gotta get my mind back. I got distracted by a phone just now.
Sorry, honey, I see you turned to time limit.
So, when these motherfucking rapists die, even if they didn't participate in the knife rape of my mentally challenged wife, because they were part of the catalyst that started the exploitation and got her down there in the first place, they're going to get time looped as they're getting knife raped. That's what Cody O'Rourke's little buddies don't realize, is that, hey, while you helped him rape a mentally retarded woman, okay? She has the mind of like a 9-year-old child, not one of your 9-year-old children from this era where they're smart and they've been playing with phones and shit and they can do calculus and all that shit and they can do algebra. No, a dumb 9-year-old kid, okay? Somebody that's really stupid, was brought up in the ghetto. All they were ever taught was how to suck dick. They were never taught anything else. You know, nobody cared to teach them nothing. When they turn 15, nobody's going to teach them how to drive. Nobody gave a fuck about them like that, you see? That's that kind of 9-year-old, all right? You fucked with somebody, you know, on like worst case 9-year-old child-minded, maybe lower, and you fucking goddamn fucked her like she's a full-grown woman and like she chose you or she chose to do it. You see, you manipulated sex out of her to keep a secret about rape, all right? Forcible rape. You see what I'm saying? You just go snatch somebody up and tell them they got to go in a room with you and give you some ass. You see? And I'm not talking about no ghetto. I'm not talking about no projects. I'm not talking Cabrini Green or anything like that, yo. I'm talking more fucking on a senior complex, an old people home. Yeah. Fucking, you know, you can't send your mentally challenged wife to go fucking check the goddamn mail because, well, there's somebody that's going to take advantage of that. Decided because they heard her giggling at his unfunny jokes that he was sending her signals. Well, you know what? She doesn't really have the mentality to understand signals, so she didn't know not to laugh. You see? Now she knows. You don't laugh at fucking dudes that ain't funny. And you don't make them feel important next to your husband. You see? Because, well, they might see you in the hallway and decide that they are more important than your husband. Then the last time they have you come down, they'll fucking goddamn knife your pussy, fuck y'all up, where your butt don't hang the same, nothing's the same down there, your muscles are all fucked up, your shit don't fucking respond to fucking goddamn stimulus like it did, you know, stimuli, whatever. It's like totally change everything up because, well, in a way, they kind of want the husband to know, hey, yeah, I fucked your retarded wife. She's so fucking retarded, you can't turn your back on her. You know, that's what the message they're trying to send is. Well, the message I want to send back is, well, you're going to get time looped as that retarded bitch when you die. Yeah, before you're spiritually executed, to never get born in the replay of this timeline, when it gets all restored back, taken back like the Bible describes, and it gets started again, you ain't gonna be here at that point, because you'll still be in the time loops, getting time looped as this girl. Just a DJ of the motherfucking time loops, scraping that shit back and forth, just scratching it. Just picture it, motherfucker. Put a motherfucker in that shit and just scratch it back and forth. Fucking keep it fucking jiggling. Keep the motherfuckers experiencing it. They just keep experiencing them same fucking experiences. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Now you're that retarded bitch. There you go. And you just keep fucking goddamn scratching that shit for fucking hours and hours and hours till your fucking wrist is exhausted. And then you switch hands. Yeah, you got a whole other hand to scratch with, motherfucker. You see? The DJs of these time loops, they are fucking tireless. We are motherfucking, we will not quit. Do you see what I'm saying? You did not fucking afflict our minds and our spirits and our souls with the knowledge that you would do these things to fucking innocent entities. Innocent-minded entities. They're not necessarily innocent, but their minds are innocent. They're like on the level of a child. You can't even explain some shit to them. They never fucking wrap their minds around it, you know? It takes fucking a half hour to fucking goddamn explain what one word that you said means. You see, I mean, damn, okay? On that level. Now, all right, you don't grab that up out of a hallway and decide you're going to fuck it, even if she acts like she wants to. Come on. What's next? Where's your little baby at, little 3-year-old? Hey, I got a lollipop, little kid. Come here. You see? Where's the line drawn up in this shit? These fucking things are fucking welfare phantoms, all right? They're not people. I don't regard what I came here to hunt people, all right? They're not people to me. They're shit that should have never got born. Lucifer wouldn't have let them get born to come here to contaminate his motherfucking goddamn simulation of God's world. That's why him and Yah were on the outs. They ain't on the outs so much anymore, sitting around playing chess together. I wouldn't say that's fighting. Because, well, the Bible doesn't talk about Lucifer being a motherfucking goddamn what Satan is. That's what the scribes and Pharisees did to this shit. They made Lucifer and Satan into one entity. They're two separate entities. One of them has a body. Satan doesn't have a body. Satan is part spirit, part fucking technology. He's a failed experiment. But he's being utilized for this shit to control a bunch of motherfuckers that can be controlled by external motivators. All right? So you can beam into their minds a thought. Rape that retarded girl. Yeah. Have her come down here and rape her repeatedly. You know? Make her think that she's special and that she's, you know, that she should come down here and do to your dick what she won't just roll over and do to her husband's dick, you know? You see what I'm saying? Drive that wedge between them. That, you know, no matter what, that happened. She snuck out of bed to go do that with him. So, you know, she wouldn't even tell the motherfucker until it was all over with. And he was all done with her. Then she's finally going to tell. Because, well, he's done with her. So now you're finally, oh, he done with me, so now I can tell you. Because, well, he's bigger than you, my husband. He's a bigger man than you. He's bigger in every way. That's why, well, I had to keep his secret till he was done with me. When he's finally done with me, then I'll finally tell you. You know? You see what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with that, hey, okay, well, that's where you know, this is supposed to be your wife, your companion, you know? It's like, this is how her mind works, you see? You went from fucking somebody intelligent that this shit never would have happened to Lisa, okay? Understand this shit. They would have been left laying in a pile in the goddamn foyer of that fucking place. Yeah, 3 little fucking nasty little white boys, you see? But they wouldn't have tried to rape Lisa because she's not retarded. So that's the whole thing right there, is they're selective in who their targets are. They're going for that low-hanging fruit. The really dumb small-town girls they think they can get away with it on, you see? And you kind of know that you can when a bitch will keep your secret, keep coming down, sneaking out of her husband's bed, depriving her husband of sex and solidarity and exclusivity and monogamy and just having a trustworthy companion, just sneak out of his bed to go, you know, feel special on a rapist's dick, you see? Okay, well, you're dealing with a child mind. And then it has you wonder, well, hey, wow, how come vulnerable adults are even running around in a world where rapists can get to them? How come they're not in a controlled environment where they're safe, you see? You know, how come there's not special homes where they have their own rooms, you know, and they can be taken care of and guarded and watched and protected from even their own stupid fucking goddamn decisions, right? Because, well, you know, I really wonder that. I'm grieved and traumatized by this shit. When the whole time this kid probably never should have been out here in this world amongst all of these motherfucking violent motherfuckers, you see? It's like, where was the people that who cared about her enough to fucking see to it that she was fucking protected? Because nobody warned me that you cannot let her out of your sight. She's full-blown retarded and somebody will fucking snatch her up and start fucking her, okay? Nobody warned me. So I had no clue that I could end up traumatized on this level where I'm waking up fucking dealing with rages that I didn't have none of these issues fucking 6.5, 7 months ago, man. I was just living my life. I was just doing my own thing. And now I'm living a life where I'm on the hunt. Again, you see? I'm on the hunt to get shit done to motherfuckers and shit. Just hoping like a motherfucker that I can make something happen to a whole bunch of motherfuckers up in this shit. That's how I'm living now, man. And I'm trying not to do nothing so that they'll get fully time looped this hair. Repeatedly, the DJs that just go nuts, scratching the fuck out of that shit.
I love your booty boo. I wanna be with you, cause you are super cool. I love the things you do. I love your booty boo. I wanna be with you, cause you are super cool.
I always knew just what to do until I got exposed to you. Then I felt this weird affection, made me change my whole direction. Old desires toned it down, I just wanted you around. Hoped you weren't a trifling hoe, hit me back with posse flow.
I love the things you do. I love your booty boo. I wanna be with you, cause you are super cool. I love the things you do. I love your booty boo. I wanna be with you, cause you are super cool.
Feel it for you, love might be. I'm right here, can you see me? Emanating super vibes, make your love for me alive. Liberate you from their lies, let you see with x-ray eyes what they hope to keep at bay, love they try to chase away.
I love the things you do. I love your booty boo. I wanna be with you, cause you are super cool. I love the things you do. I love your booty boo. I wanna be with you, cause you are super cool.
Baby own it,
You are super cool.
baby own it,
You are super cool.
baby own it,
You are super cool.
baby own it.
You are super cool. I love the things you do. I love your booty boo. I wanna be with you, cause you are super cool. I love the things you do. I love your booty boo. I wanna be with you, cause you are super cool.